Icon Comics' Nemesis, Mark Millar's twisted and malevolent answer to Batman, stands as one of the most loathsome figures in the entire Millarverse. Much like Batman, Nemesis, whose real name is Matthew Anderson, is a wealthy, brilliant tactician and martial arts expert who thrives on meticulous preparation. However, unlike DC's Dark Knight, Nemesis channels his talents into spreading carnage and terror at every turn. Across the storylines of Nemesis, Nemesis Reloaded, and Big Game, this villain racks up an appalling list of heinous deeds. The following atrocities represent the most chilling and vile actions committed by Millar's dark and twisted take on the Batman archetype. A word of caution. This list includes panels of graphic and disturbing images. You've been warned. Let's begin with the time Nemesis massacred his way out of prison. Even when it appeared that Chief Inspector Blake Morrow, Nemesis's initial adversary, had gained the upper hand, the villain demonstrated otherwise. After being apprehended and sent to a correctional facility in Washington, D.C., Anderson masterminded a brutal escape from within the prison walls. Once freed from his restraints, Nemesis swiftly dispatched a team of at least 7 armed guards, breaking their necks and using their own riot batons to beat them to death. Even the prison's most hardened inmates recoiled as Nemesis drove batons through the guards' bodies, stabbing them through their chests and even their eyes. Then there was the infamous moment when Nemesis entombed his greatest enemy with the corpses of his parents. Everything Matthew Anderson does in Nemesis Reloaded boils down to one ultimate goal: eliminating the man responsible for framing his parents for the murders of 9 hitchhikers. Nemesis ensnares Mayor Joe Costello by strapping him to a nuclear bomb rigged to a lie detector, forcing the mayor to finally confess to orchestrating the setup against Anderson's parents. With the truth finally revealed, he exacts the vengeance he had been waiting 20 years to achieve. He digs up his parents' remains and buries Costello alive beneath City Hall, ensuring the disgraced mayor's desperate cries for help go unheard. Now let's move on to the time he kidnapped the President of the United States and wreaked havoc in Washington. Chaos is his trademark, and he launches his mission to kill Chief Inspector Blake Morrow by abducting the President. While Air Force One soars through the sky, Anderson storms aboard, killing the pilots with headshots. Seizing control of the aircraft, Nemesis unleashes mayhem over Washington, smashing the plane's wings into buildings and mowing down innocent civilians in the process. He caps off his gruesome spectacle by crashing Air Force One into a fuel truck, igniting a massive fireball that engulfs parts of the city. And then there's the moment Nemesis engineered a soundwave weapon to torment Earth's final heroes. In the Big Game story arc, the situation grew dire as the fraternity of supercriminals launched an all-out war against the world's remaining superheroes. After multiple heroes lost their lives, the President of the United States called on every former hero to unite and stand together. Sadly, Nemesis anticipated their gathering and unleashed an ultrasonic attack designed to target each hero individually. That torment was only the prelude, as the fraternity began a merciless slaughter of the assembled heroes. Sam from Nightclub met a fiery end when exposed to the sun, while Wesley Gibson disintegrated the remaining defenders with ruthless precision. Next, let's discuss the time Nemesis forced LA's gang leaders to annihilate each other. Before launching his assault on Los Angeles' power structure, he needed to take control of the city's criminal factions. Anderson abducted all the gang leaders in LA and forced them into a deadly showdown in an empty swimming pool. Blindfolded and armed, the gang leaders turned on one another in a frenzied, blood-soaked brawl. Watching from the sidelines were their second-in-command, who Nemesis swiftly enlisted into his campaign of chaos. In the end, a gang leader named Carlos emerged as the last man standing, only to be unceremoniously executed with a bullet to the head by Nemesis. Remember the time he raised hell in Tokyo, taking an unknown number of innocent lives? Even before his most heinous crimes, he had already plunged the city into chaos and misery. The carnage begins with Anderson torturing a Tokyo inspector while gloating about previous atrocities, such as poisoning the Oguchi Reservoir and orchestrating a deadly gas attack at the Tokyo Dome. However, these pale in comparison to his final act of the night, detonating a hotel near a railway, derailing a train, and killing everyone on board. The exact death toll from Nemesis's rampage in Tokyo remains unknown, but it's undoubtedly in the thousands. And if that wasn't horrific enough, he claimed thousands more lives in a Pentagon massacre. When Nemesis targets someone, he doesn't simply eliminate them. He obliterates everything they hold dear. Chief Inspector Morrow, along with top government officials, convenes at the Pentagon to discuss the Nemesis threat, only for Morrow to realize too late that Anderson is planning an attack on the building. Moments later, a lethal nerve gas fills the Pentagon, killing nearly 20,000 people and leaving only a few survivors. To make matters even worse, he steals the Pentagon's most sensitive secrets and leaks them online purely for his own amusement. And then there's the chilling moment when Nemesis slaughtered the ambassadors using their own powers. He was the fraternity of supercriminals' most lethal weapon when they launched their mission to eliminate every superhero on Earth. The ambassadors, a coalition of powerful leaders from various nations, were among the fraternity's first targets. Nemesis captured Pakistan and used the hostage as bait to lure the rest of the team into an elaborate trap. With the help of the fraternity, Anderson hijacked their abilities, controlled remotely from a central command, and mercilessly killed each member in gruesome ways. From slicing them in two to freezing them solid, he showed no restraint in annihilating the planet's most formidable team. And finally, there's the horrific time Nemesis forced siblings to create a child together. Easily the most horrifying and morally repugnant act Nemesis committed involved Chief Inspector Morrow's teenage son and daughter. After his prison escape, he orchestrated the fertilization of Morrow's daughter's eggs using sperm extracted from her own brother. Although neither teen was physically harmed, Nemesis warned that attempting to end the pregnancy would destroy the daughter's womb, permanently preventing her from having children in the future. While it lacked the bloodshed of his other crimes, this vile act stands as his most infamous and revolting offense, unmatched in its sheer grossness. Mark Millar's sinister supervillain has committed many atrocities, but these moments define the most savage and unforgivable acts of Nemesis.